Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our cell biology, genetics and evolution class. In the previous video, we discussed the experiments of Avery, McLeod and McCarty, who conclusively proved that the transforming principle was DNA. Now we are going to take a look at the actual process of transformation, that how transformation takes place. But before discussing that transformation or how transformation takes place, remember we are discussing recombination, and as we defined recombination in the very first video, that joining the DNA or combining the DNA from two individuals into one. Now, first of all, in very simple words, let's find out that what happened to type 2R or how it became type 3S. So this is a type 2R cell, Diplococcus, and the extract, as it was demonstrated by Avery, McLeod and the co-workers, that it is the DNA that transformed the type 2R into type 3S. Now, this particular type 2R cells, they are harmless or avirulent. The reason is that the gene in this type 2R, which is required for the synthesis of capsule, has mutated. They do have the gene which creates or synthesizes the capsule. When expressed, this capsule is synthesized, but that gene has mutated, and due to mutation, it cannot function properly, or in other words, the polysaccharide capsule cannot be synthesized. Right? So, what happens during transformation when a type 3 or dead cells or extract of type 3 S cells is mixed with living type 2R, is that type 2R cell, they absorb, so to say, as I said in very simple words, absorb the DNA of type 3S. DNA, which one DNA? That is the normal gene required for the synthesis of capsule, So when they absorb that particular DNA, the normal gene that can synthesize the capsule. So when DNA is absorbed, it enters that particular DNA. Suppose this is the DNA. It enters the type 2R cell. And when this gene enters the type 2R cell, this particular gene replaces the already faulty or mutated gene. That is destroyed, and the cell, the type 2R cell, it incorporates that normal gene. So when that normal gene enters the type 2R cell and it is incorporated into its own DNA, removing the mutated gene. So what happens when this gene expresses itself? The type 2R cell develop a capsule, and now they are not type 2R, they become type 3S. So this is what happened when the very first experiment was conducted by Frederick Griffith. Since the cells, when they die, obviously they disintegrate, their DNA is released, and type 2R cells somehow absorb that particular gene which was required for the synthesis of capsule. And when it entered the type 2R cells and it was incorporated into their DNA, so it expressed itself, and what happened, that type 2R cells developed capsule. And obviously when those type 2R when they transform into type 3S, they keep on dividing, and the number of type 3S cells increased, and the mice developed the disease and they started dying, and which was a very surprising, unexpected result for Frederick Griffith. So this is the whole story. This is what happens and during transformation, whether it is the transformation of type 2R into type 3S or any other transformation case, because as we are going to see shortly, transformation is common in bacteria, natural transformation, and there are several bacteria which carry out natural transformation. That is, they can absorb exogenous DNA or foreign DNA or DNA outside their cells into their bodies, and then transformation takes place. So now let's study the entire process of transformation in bacteria. As I just told you, transformation can occur naturally in several species of bacteria. So here is a list of bacteria in which transformation can take place. So as you can see, we have Haemophilus influenzae. This is one of the bacteria, Bacillus subtilis, Shigella or Shigella paradysentery, and Streptococcus pneumoniae, E. coli, and so forth. So these are various species of bacteria in which transformation can take place. Now, in order to become fully transformed, or if a successful transformation can occur, the bacteria in question in which the transformation is required must be competent. So this is a term used in transformation. The bacteria in which successful transformation can take place must be competent. So what competency means is that the bacteria must express the appropriate enzymes necessary for the transformation process to take place, that is, to absorb exogenous or foreign DNA outside their cell. And all those enzymes which are necessary, they are usually known as transforming machinery. So transforming machinery. So the bacteria must be competent, that is, it can express all the enzymes, that is the transforming machinery, which is required to transport the exogenous DNA into the cell. So all those genes, or the correct genes, must be expressed, and when it happens, that bacteria is known as competent. So when these genes are expressed, or when this transformation or transforming machinery is created, usually it occurs when bacteria is dividing rapidly. So during rapid growth and rapid division, the transforming machinery is active, that is, all the genes that are required to transport the exogenous DNA, enzymes, proteins, they are synthesized, and all the genes are expressed properly. So in a population of bacterial cells, only those bacteria are competent, or they can absorb or transport the foreign DNA which are in a particular state or in a particular physiological state. And we have seen the names of various bacteria which can carry out transformation. So let's see a diagram, the overall process, which shows us the overall process of transformation. So this is a diagram that is showing the overall process of transformation. As you can see, this is a competent bacteria that can absorb or transport the foreign or exogenous DNA. So this is its receptor site, and this is the DNA which needs to be absorbed, the foreign DNA. So what happens, that this DNA enters the cell through this place, and then the process takes place, the process of incorporating the foreign DNA into the DNA of the bacteria. So what happens when the DNA enters the cell? Since DNA is, we know, is double stranded. So what happens that one of these strand is digested and only one strand remains. As you can see, one of the strand has been digested, and this is the transforming strand, which is somewhat or almost complementary to a particular part of the DNA in the recipient bacteria, because this is the recipient bacteria which is receiving the foreign DNA, and the other DNA which has been absorbed has come from a donor bacterium. So that is the donor DNA, and this is the recipient DNA. Now what happens when this particular strand which has been absorbed, now it enters the bacterial DNA. But as we know, the bacterial DNA is also double stranded. And this is, for example, the foreign DNA or the DNA which has been absorbed. So what bacteria does, that it removes one of its strand, the same size and same piece of which that foreign DNA is. This particular part of its strand is removed, it is cleaved, it is digested, and this is incorporated in its place. So the bacterial DNA becomes double stranded, but now one of the piece is foreign DNA and other is its own original strand. Right? Now the molecule that has been formed, it is known as heteroduplex. Heteroduplex in the sense because here, now this is its own DNA and this is the exogenous DNA. So this part of the DNA is heteroduplex because these two strands, are these two pieces of the DNA are not exactly alike. What happens next? That this particular bacterium, it replicates or it divides. When it divides, it replicates its own DNA. So this is its DNA, this is its own strand, these are its own strands, but at this particular point, this is the foreign DNA. So when it creates when this particular bacterium, when it divides, so it synthesizes its DNA. As we know that during DNA replication, both the strands act as template strand, the leading and the lagging strands, and we get two new molecules according to the semi-conservative model of DNA replication. So you can easily guess that we get two molecules. One molecule in which this is the template strand, and for other molecule this is the template strand. Now this particular strand, since it is original, normal, untouched, when it replicates, we get unmodified molecule of the bacteria. However, when this particular strand, it replicates, what it does, that this part of the DNA, which is somewhat mismatching because there are bases which mismatch. So what happens that this particular DNA is synthesized according to the exogenous DNA. So this is the first copy, and the second copy, now it is somewhat different. That is, this is the one strand, and now the other strand also synthesizes this piece which is complementary to the foreign DNA. So now this part, which was a heteroduplex, as we have just seen here, it is heteroduplex. Now it is not heteroduplex, as both these pieces of the DNA are exactly alike after the first round of DNA replication. We get two molecules. So one daughter cell is not transformed, while this particular daughter cell will be transformed, as in case of type 2R. Since it has the mutated gene at this particular point, so it will remain type 2R, and obviously as it will divide, these cells will remain type 2R and they will not be transformed into type 2S. However, this particular cell, since now it's both the strands are carrying the normal gene which has been absorbed from the outside, now this particular DNA or this gene, when it will express itself, this cell will develop the capsule. and when it will develop the capsule, it will become type 3s. So now one of the cell will be transformed and the other will not be transformed. And as you can see in this particular diagram, we have two cells. This one is the transformed and this is the non-transformed, because it is carrying the mutated gene, so it will remain type 2R. However, this particular cell will be transformed and all of its progeny will be type 3S. This was a basic or simple division. Of course, we did not discuss the enzymes or how the foreign DNA or exogenous DNA enters the recipient bacterial cell or the competent bacterial cell. That is a detailed discussion in which various proteins and enzymes are involved, and hopefully inshallah you will discuss it or study it in your next semesters, most probably in your final semester. So this was transformation, and we have seen its history and then the process of transformation in a bacterial cell, a generalized type of discussion and a basic and simple discussion of transformation. So this was the first case of recombination in which DNA from a type 3s or whatever the case may be, it was incorporated into a type 2R, and that type 2R became type 3s. So this was recombination because its DNA changed. It had the mutant gene, and when it absorbed the foreign DNA, the exogenous DNA, so its mutant gene was removed, and in that place a normal gene or functional gene was incorporated, the gene required for the synthesis of capsule. And that transformed when this particular gene expressed itself, it transformed the type 2R into type 3s. So this was the first case of recombination in bacteria. Next is conjugation and transduction, and inshallah we are going to discuss that in the coming videos. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.